Morning. Why is this a stupid video? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Stupid deer. Cross the road. Don't be stupid. For the past 4 days, I've been grabbing this camera and other cameras, shooting video. It's just been stupid stuff that's been happening to me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you some frustrating and stupid stuff that has happened over the past few days. Things that may even happen to you. I'll talk about some of our testing. We'll talk about kind of some don't eat bugs. Oh, gosh. I know what's happening. She's looking for a cicada down there. She's down there. She loves to eat cicadas. Stupid. Another stupid thing. Okay, let's start this over. I'll show you some stupid things that have happened. We'll talk about some of the testing that we're doing, including growth regulators. We're about to do some scalping, some summer scalping on the lawn. We'll talk about that. Just stupid stuff that's happened to me. We'll talk about some, there's a bunch of stupid comments and stupid thought processes that happen a lot. And I'll go ahead and I'll just address them. So hold on one second. First of all, I'm going to address right up front the fact that there's kind of a myth or misinformation out there about biochar applied to a lawn, and I'm going to address it right up front. If the information that some people are throwing out there is true, my lawn should be dead right now. I'm just telling you, that's according to their thought process. My lawn should be dead. Why? Because I've put down 5 heavy treatments of humichar, biochar, that's not pre-inoculated or preloaded, and it's sucking all the nutrients out of my lawn and killing my plants. Total BS. Total BS. I had a comment of someone yesterday that said, there's studies out there. No, there's not. If you understand the studies that are out there, they're talking about subsurface biochar that's tilled in around the plant roots. That type of situation, you preload and precharge biochar, like we do in our garden. Have you seen my garden videos? Absolutely amazing the results. Why is that? Because we'll never see that biochar again. It's immediately going around what? It's immediately going around the plant roots. And the only time, here's rule number 1, the only time biochar can have an impact on a plant is when it is surrounding the root zone. No other time. Not on the top of the grass, not in the thatch layer, not in the first inch of the soil, very little impact. It's not until it works down into the root zone that it has an impact. And how long does that take? It takes months. The difference, all the studies that are out there that talk about preloaded and precharged biochar versus raw biochar are done subsurface where the biochar is tilled in. None of those studies, not one, talks about micronized biochar top applied to a lawn. It takes months, and as it slowly works into your thatch layer, what's there? All your fertilizers, all your microbes, and it slowly starts to load itself, and over months it comes down. Well, even if my lawn were to start looking weak, which it's not, by the way, what would I do? I would just apply some fertilizer because it's right up top. It's just the stupidest thought process in the world. People that are making those comments do not understand biochar. We have worked a year on this stuff and done a tremendous amount of studies showing about top applied versus subsurface, testing subsurface versus top applied. And I'll tell you right now, the problem with putting nutrients inside of biochar when you put it on a lawn is you restrict the amount that you can apply to a lawn. And you have to put a lot on a lawn. You have to basically come out every single month and do a humichar or biochar treatment to actually try and get a small percentage of your first 6 inches of soil to contain a percentage of biochar. If you want to get a 1% or 2% biochar content in the first 6 inches, you're going to have to do that every single month for an entire season. You might hit a 1%. Got it? So just understand the fact that it's an absolute myth, the discussion about preloading biochar. One of the reasons, now if you were to put them side by side, Let me change this angle a little bit. Now, if you were to put them side by side, you can't do that. And why can't you? Because you're basically putting out a fertilizer with biochar in it versus plain biochar. So that doesn't make sense. You cannot do a side-by-side comparison. I always get amused by people that do comparisons of fertilizers that are different strengths and different ratios to see which one works better, and they haven't done a soil test. That is the most amusing thing to me. You can't do that either. So, the problem with preloading your biochar is that you're regulated how much you can put out on your lawn. You do not want to use, for top applied micronized biochar on your lawn, you want to use biochar that has no nutrients inside of it, so that you can apply it every 2 or 3 weeks if you want, because you've got to hit it and hit it and hit it. What ends up happening when you do that? Everything turns fantastic, as we've shown in our lawns this year. You're using less fertilizer. I'm using less fertilizer. You have better microbial activity. It resists fungus so much more. I haven't had a spot of fungus really on my lawn, except for my brown patch that's there every year out front. I mean, it's truly amazing. The vegetable garden, absolutely amazing what this product has done, because we understand the difference between top applying versus subsurface. So that's the first stupid thing that I won't talk about. We'll leave that alone. Watch the biochar videos that we've got up. We've done a ton of work on it. Of course, if you're interested in anything I'm talking about, in the description below is one link, because on that link, on that page, I'll put the Bermuda Lawn Guide, I'll put a link to Humichar, link to PGF Complete, I'll put a link to the reel mowers, I'll put a ton of different stuff that I'm talking about. So you go there, this video will be there along with all the links. Okay, so let's move on to the next stupid thing that happened to me this week. You're gonna hear that word a lot today. Kind of frustrating. So I'm walking over to the green, and while I'm walking over to the green, I'll explain my reel mower stupidity. We used the big 27-inch True Cut across the street, because that's all nasty and rough. So I went to backlap it and grease it up, and I couldn't find my driver bit. And I searched for an hour, and I couldn't find it. So I had to go all the way to Lowe's to buy one little driver bit. Stupid. That pissed me off. Then I go to grease. I'm working on the little 20-inch, and I go to get the grease gun, and guess what I find in the grease gun? I find a Zerk fitting, a grease fitting. So that means that when I was pulling off the grease fitting off the big 27, I ripped out one of the grease fittings. And I'm like, ugh. So I went over this morning, and I found out where it was, and of course it's one of the ones on the reel. So yesterday I went to Amazon, and I bought a 250-piece grease fitting set. It's actually pretty cool. I might put a link to that if you need it. But that's just one reason why I like the McLean so much better. There's no greasing. On the True Cuts, I got to grease them every single time, just about. All right, let's talk about the green. I'm watching this kind of closely because I know I've had germination, and the seeds that we put down here, if you watch that video, that last video we did, is extremely, extremely fine. I think I should be seeing more green haze from those seeds. What you're seeing now is mostly Bermuda. And I'm worried that, stupidly, what I may have done, my pre-emergent was put out 90 days ago. It's almost right about 3 months ago. And I put it out pretty heavy. And I'm kind of hoping that that pre-emergent residual still isn't there. So I may have been stupid and done a whole bunch of work here. I'm going to monitor it because we've had a bunch of rain and not a lot of sun. So hopefully this sun will stimulate that upward growth. But we'll see. I'll double check it. I just hope that this stuff isn't germinating and then dying off because of the pre-emergent. Stupid. Anyways, Jessie's coming over today. She's going to cut the back. She's going to cut the front. Hopefully nothing stupid happens. And now let's go ahead and let's talk about the testing we're doing on the growth regulator real quick. One of the biggest problems I think you'll find with growth regulators isn't necessarily the amount that's applied, it's the application method. Almost all growth regulators are sprayed on, and the problem with that is making sure, of course, you get the right amount on there, But then you got all this application overlap, you've got wind drift, and what happens is you start to get some sort of yellowing burn marks on your grass. Well, when that happens from a growth regulator, guess what? It takes a long time for those to grow out. So you may have an ugly lawn for 3 weeks. So that's why we're testing this granular product. It's so much easier for the average homeowner to use. I've been really hesitant to talk about growth regulators simply for the fact that a lot of people just have problems dealing with regular fertilizer, and then you're introducing a growth regulator and making sure it gets applied right. I've just really been sort of shy from this. But this product, I think the average homeowner, if they follow the instructions correctly, can apply it very evenly. And that's the problem. If you don't apply growth regulator evenly, you're going to have growth strips and non-growth strips. That's another problem. So, first of all, my front yard has basically only had human char and PGF complete, and it's dying because I applied micronized biochar with that wasn't preloaded. Stupid. There's my lawn that's dying because I put on. And I gotta tell you, I'm wanting to put more fertilizer down, but it just doesn't need it because I'm using the humichar. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Look how thick that is. Barbs, the test patch, and the world's worst. We cut them down a little bit shorter than normal, so we have a little bit of ugliness. I'll just warn you, there's like yellowing scalp marks. But here's what I'm doing. Now, Barb's lawn, which, by the way, when we took this over, this was almost all red clay and weeds. But all I did was cut it hard and put PGF complete. The test patch over here. Now, the test patch used to look like this. The test patch used to look like this, just all weeds. And we took over up to here, and you can see how it looks now. Solid Bermuda, not a single weed, gorgeous. So we came out here, we cut it hard, we did PGF complete, and I did one treatment of growth regulator, came back the next day and did my dew treatment, which we'll talk about on the next video. Which is basically we come out in the early morning with the dew on the grass and we apply it. So we're playing around with that. The world's worst. The world's worst, we did a treatment of PGF complete, and I did a crisscross pattern with the growth regulator in one day. This lawn was all solid weeds. A couple years ago we took it over, and you can see what it looks like now. Again, no burning whatsoever, no scarring, no discoloration, no burning yet. One of the only problems with my test as far as a variable is I'm getting too much rain. It's been wonderful. So let me show you the test strip on my lawn we're doing. Over here, I did excessive coats. I did back and forth 3 times on a strip. So back in this corner over here, which actually is kind of a weak corner anyways. See that red bush right there? There's a red bush, the third one. We came in and we did 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass with the growth regulator. That was about 6 days ago. We cut it 2 or 3 days ago. Now we're going to leave it. We're going to leave this whole section untouched for about a week, and we're going to see what difference. But again, no discoloration, no burning, no problems. Now I'm assuming if I had done that, we used to use, I worked for one guy on a golf course when I was young that used growth regulator, and it was a spray. And he used to get so pissed off because you get some overlapping, and on that overlapping you get yellow discoloration. Sometimes this product can also cause a little bit of white like shining. So far we haven't seen it. Knock on wood. So I had to drive all the way to Lowe's because I couldn't find my 3/8 inch bit. God, that pisses me off. Man, I found the quarter, I found the big one, but I couldn't find the other one. When I got back, my girlfriend was here. Who's my girlfriend? My irrigation guy. So, I think this is the last valve of the old system. So I came out here, saw a bunch of mud, and guess what? We had a bad valve. So what was it? The valve itself?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. The valve had failed. I think it was the seal. Something on the inside had gone bad. I don't know if it's the seal or the filter.
So, knock on wood, I think that's the last one of this whole system. I don't know. Let's hope. I think we've replaced every valve out here.
That looks about ground level. I don't know if you want me to cut it any shorter.
No, that's fine.
I haven't tested it yet, but I'll give it about 10 more minutes.
He's always worried about refilling my holes because he knows I'm going to hold them to a higher standard than anyone else. Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to start backlapping this real mold. Actually, no, it was my 20-inch that I was backlapping. I went to backlap it, and I couldn't find this stupid little driver that I use to backlap. I spent an hour tearing apart my house looking for it, Lowe's, so I had to run all the way to Lowe's to buy one of these. Stupid. Then I grabbed the grease gun to grease up to 20, and because these things are grease hogs, by the way. A lot of people call them grease hogs because you got to keep greasing them. And I look, and there's a grease zerk inside the tip of the grease gun. I was like, oh man, that means that when I did this one a couple days ago, when I greased it and did everything, I yanked out a grease zerk. I was like, oh man. So I finally found it. Okay. So, let me explain what I'm doing here. I'm assuming that that's the correct zerk right there, because if I go over to an SAE, I don't think the SAE looks a little bit too big. Let's see if you can see. So that's the hole. And I'm going to have to get either a tap and die or wrench set because she ain't threading in. Okay, here we go again. So I got out my super magnifying glass and I looked at this zerk right here and I said, wait a minute. That may not be threaded. That may be a push on. And sure enough, when I look at it, so if you notice, it's not threaded, it's just rippled versus a threaded one. So that is actually just a push on, which means I go to order a tap and die. I gotta order a tap set and installer. So I'm down for at least 24, if not 48 hours on this thing. I'm gonna try and just hammer this thing back on until I can get that on there. But actually, I just texted Mark and he said, yeah, it's a push on. The Queen just pulled up, by the way. Hi, Queen.
Morning.
The good witch is here. Don't do anything stupid today. That's the motto.
Okay. we gonna have a time since last incident report board.
All right, so the good witch is here. What's our motto today?
Don't screw up.
No. Don't do anything stupid.
Oh.
It's been a stupid 4 days. If something stupid can happen, it has happened. So anyway, she's got to cut the front and the back. Before it starts raining again, which it has done every single day, nonstop.
That's summer down here.
All right. Here's what I need her to do, here's what I need you to do. I'm talking to two people here. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to her. So over here, we put one strip of growth regulator. So what I want you to do is stop your cut about here.
Okay, makes sense. I'll cut in a couple stripes and make sure I don't pass that line.
Yeah. She might do something stupid and forget it's a stupid video. Because what I did was, all right, so that third red bush, we'll call it, I came in here with the spreader and I went 1, 2, and 3 passes right in here with the growth regulator. So we want to monitor this and just leave it for a week uncut. And we were going to come out here and really hard cut this over the next couple days and do a little growth regulator on our lawns. There's too much rain coming. It's like thunderstorms every single day. Okay, so one thing that's really cool on this edging is we've put 5 coats of human char on this lawn, but on the edge, I blow off the driveway, any human char, and it gets on the edge. Look how dark this is.
See how dark that is? It's like the soil is like solid black in there. I wish I could get it, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. So this is what I'm talking about. Look how dark that is. That's pretty cool.
I'm pretty hard on her. I make her do it the right way. I'm not easy. I don't take it easy on Jessie. She's out here to work.
So this is the height we're at, which is, I would say, is about 3/4 of an inch, maybe to an inch. And we're gonna take it down. We're gonna scalp her down in a couple days and make it ugly.
So she's all done cutting with this, and I always tell her to leave the reel mower here, and here's why. Always rinse your reel mower off before you put it away. Otherwise, all those clippings are going to dry on the blades, and it can actually throw it out of balance. And not only that, it causes corrosion, and then let it sit in the sun and dry out. You got high-speed blades spinning, and you want to keep them balanced. As an example, I just cleaned up this True Cut a little bit because it was put away dirty. So I came out here and scrubbed it and rinsed it a little bit. Much better. What are you doing, Linda? Are you back here with the good witch? What are you doing? Is she picking up your poo-poos? All right, so now she's back here with this one, and you can see what I mean. This grass is wet, and you can see all these clippings. Did you do some poo-poos out here? And then obviously she's gonna walk around on poo patrol. So we're gonna pick up poo patrol. The other thing that's important, I think, when you're reel cutting is if you have wood mulch, pick up the mulch pieces, because that hardwood will actually stress the blades when you'll hear it king, 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 you'll hear it cutting it. All right. Well, the witch is back there cutting, but I'm gonna trim this banana for you. Is any leaves that have this real yellow pale or have disease on them, I'm taking them out and opening it up. I really need a knife. I don't have a knife with me. I can't even get up there and touch it, but look how big that is. That thing is enormous. But again, any signs of disease, because this thing, both of them struggle with disease and this one overcame it. But anything that looks like disease, I need to go in here and cut out. So I still got to get some scissors. Okay, so let me tell you what, I kind of have this little process I'm working on, which is when you use this growth regulator, you come out, you cut your grass low, you wait for a heavy dew in the morning, and then you come out and apply this. So here's what happens. It sticks to the dew and the blades, and it contacts the blades. As the sun dries and the wind blows, the particles fall to the base of the plant, which is a very effective treatment for this product, the base of the plant, not just foliar. Roots, not so much. So I'm gonna fake a dew by a mist, and then I'm gonna apply it. That's pretty much it. Now you just stay the heck off of it for a while. Some of these particles will actually be sticking to the foliage, some will be on the ground, and those are the two predominant ways to get it transference. It's going to be foliar and it's going to be base. Base of the plant is the very effective way to get it in. Okay, so we're done cutting, and I'm actually looking at my phone radar, and again we've got more what?
Thunderstorms.
More rain and more thunderstorms coming in. So she's really got the cutting down pretty good, especially, and I'm not talking about just cutting, I'm talking about edges, understanding how the equipment works.
Celebration dance.
So
With scissors.
what we're gonna do, what are we gonna do later this week or next week?
We are gonna scalp this yard and make it look really ugly.
Yeah, we're gonna do a summer scalp, and here's what I'm gonna do. My yard, this lawn is growing a quarter of an inch a day. We're having to come out
Easily.
here every other day and cut this, so it's time for some growth regulator. It's so thick, you cannot put your finger through this grass at half an inch and feel the dirt. I mean, it's so thick, it's like walking on carpet. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna scalp it down, way down, ugly brown. It's gonna look horrible. And we're gonna put, I already put down some PGF Complete yesterday or day before, and then we're gonna come put growth regulator out here, and we're gonna do the same thing to the front. So hit subscribe wherever that button is. And you're not gonna wanna miss that. So that's pretty it. That was our stupid day today. Stupid,
Yup.
stupid.